good. And the bottom ones?
Both ones.
Yes. Now, when you lose your voice, it's okay, so you can lose your voice from a lot of things, but so screaming, a lot of us, who has lost their voice from screaming too much? Really, not everybody. I could only scream like 3 times at my sister, like 3 times, like in a day, and 4 times I'd wake up with no voice the next day. And till today, I still can't. Did you guys have me last? Was I able to like project last? I actually lost my voice for an entire year. An entire year, I could say about 10 words, and I don't know how I taught, but I was like, I had to be extremely. And so I'm like, like hacking the whole time, like clearing my throat. You know how you guys, like how I clear my throat now, like once every, I don't have much of a voice, which is crazy. You need your voice. I need my voice to work. But anyway, what's that?
Why did you lose your voice for a year?
I abused it, like too much. Like I was teaching at schools without, they didn't have microphone systems, and tons of students. So then I lost it, but it was like so severe that I just didn't have enough time between, like over the weekends, to recover. So it like became chronic, and so just by some miracle. So I thought that was just gonna be me for the rest of my life. Like I just can only say like 10 words to my kids. Like it was really sad.
You sound really wise, though.
What's that?
You sound really wise.
I know. It's like, gosh, he's so wise. He just doesn't talk. Okay, don't worry about any of this stuff. So when you lose your voice from screaming, it's because these things are banging against each other, and you'll get these little nodules, these little, inflammation, just like calluses, and therefore you'll have like a bump, and so when this thing closes, it doesn't close all the way because you have the bumps in the way, and so you get this airy, which is what you hear, like nothing comes out because there's too much air and it has to close completely. I asked a doctor once why. I just want to see, like, say, I just like to kind of mess with them. No idea.
Did they answer?
They don't know. Like what happens when you lose your voice, Dad? It's okay. It's fine, you guys. It's fine. You guys just educate. You educate when you're with your patients. You just educate. Trachea. The trachea is a very interesting part of this. It is C-shaped. It is made out of cartilaginous C rings, and the reason why is to kind of save space. So you have this. You have the esophagus. So here's anterior. This is anterior here, and this is posterior. Well, you push on this thing, and it always stays open. You push, and it comes right back at you. It has to stay open. Our trachea is open at all times. It's fully, But the esophagus, it could collapse like a vein. It opens up as food is forced through it, and then closes back up. However, when it opens, and when food is going through it, it expands quite a bit, and it expands into these cartilaginous C rings, which is why the cartilage is. So if you saw the back side of this, it would be incomplete. Like this. So the esophagus then would be right here, and it expands into the trachea. How is that even possible? Well, because when you're swallowing, you're not breathing. You swallow, you don't need the air for that moment because you're swallowing.
So how does a newborn drink and breathe at the same time?
can for the first like, few weeks or something like that.
Mhm.
They can drink
And
and
breathe at the same time.
That's what I was gonna ask if it.
Or they can swallow and breathe at the same time.
maybe because it's not formed yet. Maybe because all this stuff isn't formed yet. You know, just like
Or
which
things
is why.
haven't closed up yet.
Yeah, which is why, I'm trying to remember now. It's either why they get sick really easily or because why they, yeah. Or maybe because they're like frogs, they can breathe through their skin. Just kidding.
I think
Frogs.
babies also have
Yeah, the soft spot.
Yes, and I was told that they can breathe from.
From the soft spot? From the fontanelle?
Yes, that's what
I don't think so. Maybe shove a straw in there? No. No.
Like your wife.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can use it, you know.
Yeah.
And if you want to make cool shapes with their heads, you can kind of smash it. Hey, let's play birth canal.
You're
Just
bored.
kidding, guys.
Well, you
Don't do
can,
that with your
uh,
babies.
You can tell which babies were only laid on the back of their heads and which
Yeah,
were
yeah.
rolled around and formed.
Yeah, so cute.
Which parent? Ricardo?
Um,
Other parents like me?
Yeah, but that is, yeah, it's not all formed yet. I think that's like why they could like get an infection really easily because it's all,
Increased risk of SIDS.
it's not fully developed. So let's see. I mean, I could think about it if you want me to take a second. How they could.
Not really.
All the time.
I'm not feeling it so
The hard
far.
palate is bone, but it's already cartilage and everything, so it's still like a further soft palate, so that one plays in the
They don't like suck non-stop, I mean, they stop.
Yeah.
Get a breath.
It's okay. I just thought maybe you knew.
Yeah, but I mean, if they, yeah. Okay. All right, let's keep going here, guys. Forward, kind of forward, C-rings. What else in here? Go. Bronchioles. Okay, so far we started with the nose, and then the pharynx, and then the larynx, and inside the larynx we have the two different vocal cords, and then we have the trachea, and then the trachea branches into two wait, did I skip bronchi?
Nope.
Bronchus, trachea, oh, right here, okay. And then the trachea branches into the primary bronchi, which lead into the lung. Bronchus is one. And then you have your, so here, see you guys, so it's right here, primary bronchus. Then you have your secondary and tertiary. So the next two branches would be, or the next three branches would be secondary, and then the ones after that would be your tertiary. They look pretty much like the trachea. I mean, histologically speaking. Okay, now the bronchioles. So we have two kinds of bronchioles. We actually have terminal bronchioles and respiratory bronchioles. And so first it's the terminal, then it's the respiratory. First, in order, is the terminal, and then the respiratory. And it's the respiratory, as you may have guessed, is where we actually have the first location of respiration. Primary bronchus, secondary bronchus, or lobar because it means into the lobes. Then you have your tertiary. Then you have bronchioles. We have terminal, and then we have not on here. And then we have what's after terminal? Respiratory. I don't know, let's move this one over here a little bit. And then we have respiratory bronchioles. first place where we have respiration. And then we have alveolar ducts. Kind of going forward here. Forward, forward, forward. Here it is right here. Alveolar duct supplies the alveolar sac. And so if I go, so we just go back to any one of these diagrams. Here's you can kind of see like it would be like right here, you guys. Alveolar duct would kind of be like, okay? So,
So the duct is the stick?
yeah. I think you like technically can't see it here. Like if you cut this thing in half, then you could see it. So, first we have bronchus, then we have yeah, primary, tertiary, then we have,
Secondary, tertiary.
yep. So primary bronchus, secondary bronchus, tertiary bronchus, then we have bronchioles, which one? Terminal, then we have respiratory, then we have alveolar ducts,
Into the alveolar sac.
then we have the alveoli. Now this is a sac, here's an alveolar sac, and one of these little balls is an alveolus. See here, terminal, respiratory, go forward, 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 forward. Alveolar duct, alveolar sac, and so here's here's a duct right here, alveolar duct. This whole thing is an alveolar sac. One of these is an alveolus. Two or more alveoli. So far so good. So there's your order, you guys.
One more time.
Nose, huh?
Do you mind going through that one more time? Bring down the whiteboard, can you start with the national?
Sure. Nose, then you have your pharynx, then you have your, yeah, let's say, yeah, your pharynx, your larynx. So we're talking, in here, we're talking your vocal folds, your vocal cords. And then you have your trachea. Then you have your people get these like big stuff, you guys, like bronchus, bronchi, bronchioles, that kind of thing. So bronchus, and you have your primary, your secondary, and your tertiary. And we have our bronchioles. Oh, sorry, let me just put terminal.
On that photo, it just had bronchioles, and then it turned into terminal.
Yeah,
After that, or are they one and the same?
it's the same thing.
Is it-
So, yeah, there isn't a difference in like bronchial and then terminal bronchial. They were just combining them. So if you want to split them up, the terminal bronchial, then you have respiratory.
And the respiratory bronchioles where you start to see the little alveolar balls on the prior. If you go on the alveolar ducts, how they have the little,
Yeah.
so would that be the
What-
respiratory bronchioles that have that?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then, respiratory bronchiole, then you have alveolar duct. And then,
Why
huh? I can't write like that, you guys. I can't write.
writing?
Alveolar sac then?
Alveolar, alveolar sac, yep. You guys see way over there? Where are you at? Where?
I'll just take a picture, I can't even see that board. I can see
Oh.
because I'm wearing glasses.
Okay. And then that's it. Or if you wanted to break the sac up thing, then it would be,
It's not necessary.
alveolus. Alveolus.
Is that just the individual?
Yep, and alveolus would be one ball, a whole bunch of them together, sac.
Sac is a bunch of the alveolus, correct?
Yes. Is a bunch of alveoli. Is how you say it.
Yes, accurate.
If you see, these are, so remember like in histology we were saying like, oh, the lungs, simple squamous. Well, because so if you take a cross section here, cross section of one alveolus, most of it is simple squamous, but you also have these type 1 and type 2 pneumocytes here. All these little guys. And so so these guys are your they make surfactant. And so you remember, or wait, no, you don't remember because we're about to take it now. So these guys they make surfactant and they keep they make fluid and they keep your lungs from collapsing. So when you breathe out all the way, as hard as you can, you still have 100 mils of air in your lungs.
So when you get like knocked on the ground and you get the wind knocked out of you.
I think it's like below, I think you're actually like, it's even, you have even less than that typical, but I think it's also like, it's a pain thing too. You know, somebody hits your diaphragm or something.
And then all of a sudden you
Yeah. I think it's kind of a combination between like hitting like your phrenic, like the phrenic nerve and the diaphragm, it's that muscle. But yeah, that's a good question. Okay. Isn't it nice? Just keep skipping. Just skip. Okay. There is a few terms I want you to be familiar with. And And here's how I wanna, here's how I want you to do this. So, three different, like, are, here's our dude. You guys see that? Okay, and we got our nose here. We can Tupac. Or we can do like the too soon. Okay. So ventilation. How do you spell ventilation?
A-T-I-O-N.
Like that?
I think so.
And ventilation, external respiration, internal respiration. This ventilation is from here to use your lung. Is from the air or the nose to the what do you think? To the pulmonary to the lungs. Nose to lungs. And then external respiration goes from the
Wait, external?
Yeah,
Nose
then-
to the lungs and then internal?
no, that's ventilation. So ventilation goes from the nose to the, you know, to the alveoli. And then external respiration goes from alveoli to the pulmonary capillary. And then internal respiration goes from the pulmonary capillary to the yeah, to the pulmonary capillary down to the pulmonary. Yeah, whatever, yeah, systemic capillary or tissues, whatever you want, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Tissues or systemic capillary, it's fine. Just give you a second to write that down. So, do you see already that there's gonna be some, like, words here, like, orientation? There's a difference between a pulmonary capillary and systemic capillary. And there's a venous end of the pulmonary capillary, there's an arterial end of the pulmonary capillary, there's a venous end of the systemic capillary, there's a pulmonary end, or the arterial end of the systemic capillary. And then you have alveoli, and then you have tissues, and you have your systemic tissue, systemic cells over here. So, what is what? So this first one is that line there, and then the second one is just from here to here. So if this was like a blood vessel, like that, it's just that little green arrow, that little green line. Why? Because it's only from the alveolus to the pulmonary capillary, which is, there's no traveling. And then finally, internal respiration is from the pulmonary capillary, which is here, all the way down to your toe. How is that even possible? Or what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do here, guys? We're trying to take oxygen from here, trying to take oxygen and in gas form all the way to this ball. And then from the ball, right next to the ball, we got this capillary. And so then oxygen will diffuse from here to here. Now the oxygen is in your blood. Now the oxygen can, so what is this thing called here, you guys? This is one alveolus. And what is this exactly? This is the,
That would be the extra.
Systemic capillary?
not systemic, but pulmonary, because it's in the lungs. It's right here. This is the pulmonary capillary. Then this will eventually give rise eventually to your, artery, blah blah blah, vein. Sorry, not artery, but all the arterial, artery, and then this eventually leads to the systemic capillary. So far, so good, you guys? Is anything not clear on this?
I'm confused because which part of this whole scenario goes back to the heart as oxygenated
We'll
blood?
get it. We'll
Oh,
get
we're
to
getting
that.
there?
We'll get to that.
Is ventilation a broad term for just nose to alveolar?
There's a broader term, but I like to break it up like this.
Okay.
I like to say ventilation is from here to the lungs, and then external respiration just stays in the lung. It's from the alveolus to the bloodstream, from like the airway to the bloodstream, and then you take your bloodstream from up here down to your toe, or of course your whole body. That we call internal respiration. Okay, we got our heart.
So external respiration is the one that goes barrier from.
Okay, you guys doing okay? What time is it?
31.
31?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
7:31.
20 minutes, okay. When we take in air, we go like this. We take in air, air goes to here. And let's see here. How do we do this, you guys? We have this pulmonary thing that goes like this. And back. So do some different colors. This here, you guys, right there, and right here. Venous means going towards the heart. So this is the venous end. So if we like continue this around like this, like that, here's the capillary right here. Here's our pulmonary capillaries. This here would be the venous end. Venous, how do you spell venous? O-U-S?
O-U-S, yeah.
Here's the venous end of the you guys, I hope this is not hard yet because we haven't even started yet. We're not even done with the introduction. So funny.
Stop.
Okay. This is the venous end of the pulmonary. What does pulmonary mean? We're referring to the lungs. And venous means we're going back to the heart. Well, the arterial end of the pulmonary capillary. Every time we say pulmonary capillary, you better be inside the lungs somewhere. The blood had better be going away from the heart. So somebody just take a pic. Everybody just needs to take a picture of this. Because so that you don't get